Mike Cardano with Roto Experts in the Fantasy Sports Network here with you on this Monday, May 12th. And we've got NBA and NHL playoffs in full swing. NFL teams are starting to sign undrafted free agents now that the draft landscape is cleared. And we've got Major League Baseball, and that's where I come in. I'm here to help put the odds of winning in daily fantasy gaming in your favor. Now, the question I get asked most often is, Mike, what cheap players can I use in my daily fantasy roster so that I have enough money to fit in the stud pitchers that I want to use? Well, unfortunately, there's no one right answer to that, and obviously it changes from day to day with matchup histories and the way Major League managers use their marginal starters, platoon, and bench players. But if you want cheap players today, we've got cheap. David DeJesus is 10 for 31 against Felix Hernandez with 3 doubles and a home run. Now, it's not often you'll find someone you are actually looking for reasons to play against King Felix, but DeJesus has his number. You know, I'm not certain that I thought I'd ever use Derek Jeter in daily fantasy this season, but we all know he has the flair for the dramatic, and daily sites are just giving him away for a song and a dance at this point. Well, you know, if you want to use him, you really don't even have to sing, you can just dance. The Yankees host the Mets in the first 2014 Subway Series game tonight, and given these two teams will not be meeting in the World Series like 2000, this is kind of the last chance that Jeter has to stick a dagger in the heart of the Mets fans, and it's hard to wager against the fact that he will. This is a matchup that, all by itself, is usually good for a Jeter clutch performance, even if he is wheelchair bound. But the fact that he's facing fellow 90-year-old Bartolo Colon doesn't hurt. Jeter is 11 for 21, batting .524 against Colon, and assuming he's in the lineup tonight, we are going to play Derek Jeter this evening. Yadier Molina is 12 for 30, hitting .400 with 7 extra base hits, including 3 home runs against Cubs starter Travis Wood. Now, you're probably saying, wait a minute, Mike, Molina can't possibly be cheap. Well, even though there are only 10 games on the schedule tonight, on FanDuel, there are 6 other catchers commanding higher premiums today, and Molina is the guy I like best this evening. While David DeJesus may have a read on King Felix, apparently nobody else on the Tampa Bay roster does. Rays batters, including DeJesus, are hitting just .200 against Hernandez in 149 plate appearances. He'll be the highest priced pitcher on the board on a light schedule tonight, but if you plug in some of these other cheap guys that we spoke about, you should be able to fit him in. Now, for more daily fantasy coverage, tune in to SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, Sirius 210 XM 87 from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the first word in daily fantasy with an entire hour dedicated to the day's daily fantasy gaming with Dr. Roto and Tony Sincata, along with daily fantasy industry heavyweights Drew Dinkmeyer and Mike Leone. And if it's fantasy you want while you're getting ready or commuting to work, tune in to the Roto Experts in the Morning Show with Scott Engel and Adam Ronis from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, weekdays, right here on the Fantasy Sports Network or on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. And for you West Coast folks, we're going to replay that show here in its entirety during your 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. time slot. The first ever Fantasy Sports Network is here. You're watching it now, and you can now take it with you wherever you go. The new Fantasy Sports Network mobile app is your season ticket to the latest fantasy news, information, and analysis. Get access to the live stream of television programming, along with a suite of in-depth articles, on-demand videos, and podcasts. Fantasy Sports now goes wherever you go. The Fantasy Sports Network mobile app, available now on iTunes. There are some showers forecasted for the Tigers-Orioles game in Baltimore and also the Cubs-Cardinals game in St. Louis. So a light Monday Major League Baseball calendar could even get thinner. So pay attention to that before you set your lineups. And I hope you all had a wonderful Mother's Day, but it's time to get back to kicking some daily fantasy keister. So good luck tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow.